This is the second episode of God's Chosen podcast. In this episode, I'm going to share my thoughts on episode 1. Share a little bit more about my journey and address issues having to do with healing from past trauma.
What up, what up? What up, chosen ones? How y'all doing? It's me, God's Chosen. So today, I want to talk about episode 1. Episode 1, I was pretty fired up, you know what I'm saying? I was just coming out of a battle, pretty amped up, just really charged, and to be honest, that's really not the type of energy that I want to be putting out in some aspects of what I was saying. You know what I mean? There was some pride there was some ego there, and I'm not usually in that space. I'm usually more conscious when I'm in those states of pride and ego. That way, I don't put that out. I'm more in control of those two things. So while I wouldn't necessarily take it back because that's how I felt in the moment, but I got to address it and I got to own that. I got to own it because that was me in that moment, and I'm not always going to be speaking from my highest self, right? I'm not always going to be coming from that high vibration 100% of the time. Nobody is. That's kind of unrealistic, but we should be able to own the things that we do and learn from them and grow from them. And that's exactly what I intend to do, because my main motivation behind this channel is to inspire. You know, I want to uplift. I want to help people. I want to help people find their voice. You know, because some of us, we may not be using our voice to its full potential, right? We may not be speaking up when we should be speaking up in areas of our life where other people may have more control than we do. And it shouldn't be the case. That should never be the case. You should always listen to yourself in regards to your life. I mean, who knows your life better than you, right? Who knows the people that you meet and the experiences that you have with those people better than you? How could anybody else know, right? So for you to ask somebody else, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? You're kind of disrespecting yourself a little bit. If you put so much stock into their opinion that it makes you not do the thing you know you should do or follow your heart, you know what I'm saying? You know what you feel. Follow what you feel. Don't let people try to persuade you and trick you into not following your heart. Because usually when you don't do that is when bad things happen. You know what I mean? You get the feeling, you ignore the feeling, you try to fight the feeling, and now you in some mess where if you had listened before, you would have been good, right? If you had followed what your heart was telling you to do, you would have been good. Now, speaking on that, I'm going to tell you, like, at one time in my life, I used to be like super analytical, like over analytical, to the point where it's like I was not in my heart space at all. Like I wasn't making no decisions, 0 decisions from the heart, right? None. And it wasn't until like I realized that I was just, I had shut myself off emotionally. You know, I wasn't letting myself feel because I had been in so many relationships where I felt like I was getting taken advantage of. People weren't appreciating me. You know what I mean? And I just ultimately had enough. And as a self-defense mechanism, I shut down like big time. So I was in my head about everything. And then one day I just started to open up more in my heart. You know what I mean? One day it was just like, let me try it. Let me see. You know what I mean? Let me see. Because to be honest with you, I remember, those childhood memories of speaking from my heart, coming from my heart, you know, and it was like, it was so liberating. It was so freeing, to just say what you actually feel, you know, and I wanted that back. That got stolen from me because of how people treated me. And I felt like I had to close that part of me off so people wouldn't take advantage of me anymore, you know, but at my core, that's who I wanted to be. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be able to express myself freely. I didn't want anybody to tell me what to think and what I could do and what I didn't want any of that. I want to be free all the time. I want to be my own voice. I don't want anybody to control my voice and my emotions, you know? But when I finally decided to get back to that and speak from my heart is when things changed for me considerably. Like I was definitely happier, with not holding all this stuff in. It was very liberating. It was so freeing, you know. It was like I felt like I had regained my identity, who I really am. You know what I mean? I didn't have to put up a wall anymore. Conversations, everything just flowed. Everything was just so much easier. I was out of my head and I was just being true to who I am, being true to me, just talking, vibing. And you know what I mean? Like if I don't have anything to say, I don't have anything to say. It's not that I'm shy or anything like that. It's just that I don't have anything to say on this subject. If I don't know a lot about a subject, I may ask, I may inquire, but if I don't know anything about a subject, sometimes I don't care to know anything about a subject. And I just leave it right there. You know what I mean? I'll wait till the topic changes to something that I am interested, something that I do want to talk about. But sometimes people be like, why you ain't saying nothing? How come you so quiet? I'm chilling. I'm doing me. I don't need to be involved in this conversation. And I know that, and it doesn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm good with not being involved in this conversation. So that right there, just coming back, speaking from the heart space, that was so powerful for me, along with letting go of the pride, letting go of my ego, and not letting those things dictate how I go about life. You know what I mean? Because one of the craziest things is when you're in your ego, you're in your pride, guess what? You are very easily manipulated. You are very easily controlled. And people know that. People who want to control you, they feed that ego so they can control you. They know what buttons to push. You know what I'm saying? They most definitely know. And that's why they don't want you to let go of those things. They will try to keep you in that state as long as they can, because that's the way they control you. Yep. So when I let go of the pride and the ego, and when I started speaking from the heart, and when I opened myself up to pain, vulnerability, actually possibly being hurt again. You know what I mean? I had to do that in order to become the best version of myself. And when I, and realizing that, hey, I'm going to give love another shot. And okay, if it doesn't work, I'll just become stronger. You know what I mean? But I'm going to keep trying. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going because it might work one time. And that's all I need. I only need it to work one time. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trying and learn from the times that it doesn't, but I'm not going to shut down. I'm not going to dim my light because it didn't work. Yeah, I might hurt for a little bit, couple of days, whatever it is, but I'll bounce back stronger. I'll learn from those things. I'll learn my lessons, right? I'm focused. I'll be more focused on, okay, what can I do if this happens next time? And then I got to look at myself too. Like, okay, what behaviors did I do that may have contributed to the termination or the end of this particular relationship? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not all one person. You know, you got to own the things you did too. You know, and it's cool because when you start focusing on, you know, what you actually did, your role, the role that you may have played in the ending of the relationship, when you start looking at that, you start to see patterns. You start to see things that self-sabotage. You start to see little behaviors where you may have some insecurities. You know what I mean? If somebody don't text you back in 5 minutes and you start tripping, oh, they doing this, they doing that. You know, I ain't messing with them. They don't love me. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about me. They out here doing the most, and maybe their phone died. You know what I mean? You over here in your head making up a million scenarios that aren't true. You know what I mean? Oh, they must have somebody else, blah, blah, blah. You have no idea. But you over here in your head creating whole narratives because you got so much time on your hands. You have so much time on your hands. You creating whole stories like that's the truth. And you riding with that. You riding with it. You know what I'm saying? You riding with it like that's what it is. I know it. You know what I mean? And then you only later on you come to find out it was something simple. You know what I mean? My phone was in my bag. You know, I missed the call. You know what I mean? I missed the text, you know, but you over here with a whole narrative of what happened with who and how, and you just doing the most with your little overthinking self, you know? And those are some of the things I had to get by. Those are some of the things that I had to work through. You know what I mean? And I still kind of deal with it on some level, but it's a lot different now because I recognize, you know, certain patterns, and I know what I have to do in order to deal with that. Like I have to address it, right? And I got to be real. I got to tell myself, that's not how I want to go about this. You know what I mean? I don't want to assume the worst. You know what I mean? You assume, you make an ass out of everybody, and it's not a good look, right? Because you could kill something really beautiful before it even gets started right in your head. You can kill something amazing in your head and miss out on an opportunity to really live your best life with somebody, you know? But yeah, I mean, going back to episode 1, like I was thinking about it, you know, I was so charged up. I was so amped up and I was ready. You know what I mean? I was just coming out of battle. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was on one, right? And as I thought about it, you know, I'm not really mad at anybody. You know, I'm disappointed in a lot of people, but I'm not really mad at anybody. You know, they are more than likely doing things out of hurt and trauma. You know what I mean? They may have some past trauma, some past hurt that they haven't healed. And that's where all of this stems from. All of this stems from people going about their life, holding on to traumas that they have not looked at, traumas they have not healed, probably may have buried deep inside them. You know what I mean? Things that they don't even want to look at because it's so painful. It hurts to look at it. But that's the only way you can actually grow and have healthy relationships, healthy interactions with people. When you are healed, you're coming from a place of being healed. The world looks different. You move different, you know? So more than likely, that's where all of this stemmed from, you know? So my whole thing is I don't feel like I did anything to deserve any of this, you know? But at the same time, despite all the witchcraft, the magic, the secret alliances, the backstabbing, the betrayal, and all the heartbreak, I mean, it's going to sound crazy, but I'm actually thankful for all of those experiences, because it was during these experiences that I actually got stronger. Like, I was strong, but I mean, I came out this thing looking like Superman on steroids. You know what I'm saying? I was like, and not only that, I found my true identity. It's like, I know who I am. You know what I mean? Sometimes you think you know who you are, but you don't really know who you are until you've been tested. And this was probably one of the most challenging tests. I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm not even supposed to be talking to y'all right now. I'm not even supposed to be here. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to be gone. Like, let's see, it was like, what? Was it March? Yeah, late March. Yeah, late March. They tried to take me out in late March, like physically take me out while I was out about to take a trip. And I was not supposed to get on that plane, y'all. I wasn't supposed to get on that plane. They tried to get to me before I got to the plane. And it was by God's grace that I was able to make it and be good and survive that. You know? I'm God's chosen for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I got things to do on this place. I got things to do. So I'm not going to be an easy out. You know what I mean? It's been years. They've been trying to get me out. They've been trying to get me to take myself out, you know, through depression and psychic attacks and just putting crazy thoughts in my brain, you know. So all these things, just projecting energies onto me and all this dumb stuff. And I didn't know early on that was what was going on. I didn't know, you know, but what I did know was when I started having thoughts of potentially ending it myself, I knew something was wrong, because that's not me. I would never take my life. I would never take my life because I value my life, and I know that everything is a season. You know, things can change in the drop of a dime. And I also know, you know, the power of the mind, the power of your thoughts. So I knew I would never in a million years want to take my own life. And once that thought came to me, I knew like something was on. I knew something was up. I knew that wasn't me. And that's when I decided, okay, let me attack this head on and get up out of this state that I was in. You know, one of the main tricks though that they was using, one of the main tricks people use when they want to influence you is isolation. They try to isolate you. They try to separate you from everything that you love, everything that you want to do. Be wary of that. The thing with me is I actually like isolation to an extent because it allows me to focus on myself and heal those parts of me that may not have been getting the attention they should, you know? So the isolation for me was a blessing. I took that isolation period to actually look at myself and heal, you know, recognizing the patterns, recognizing the behaviors and the beliefs that were holding me back, that were constantly showing up in my life, those things that I was just doing over and over and over. Like, why am I still doing this? I know this is not good for me. I know the ending. I know the outcome. There's no reason for me to keep doing this other than the fact that I must be crazy, right? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. But yeah, you know, it wasn't until I went deep and started looking at these behaviors and the patterns and actually trying to overcome those beliefs and those old habits where things started to shift and change. And I started on my path to become the best version of myself, you know, because, and as I think about it, without me going back, without me actually healing myself, there's no way I would have made it out of the issues that I was in, the situations that I was in. There were many times where I could have been taken out. As I look back on it, I kind of see the setups. In the moment, I was aware of it on a psychic level, but I wasn't actually aware on a physical level in the moment. You know, it was crazy. But I just always made it out. You know, I always made it out. Despite whatever it was, I always made it out. And I will continue to make it out. That's who I am. I'm a strategist. You know what I mean? I know how to strategize. So, like, I'm not going to be an easy out ever. I got things to do. But one of the things that was like bothering me, or one of the things I had questions about, was like, these people, they were doing so much. And I'm like, man, they was doing so much. I was like, why are they this focused on me? Like, you know, and I realized it's my light, it's my energy, it's the vibe, it's my destiny, right? Because they were doing like tarot readings and different things like that to see what I would become, because they noticed I had some talent, right? They noticed how people gravitated around me, right? It seemed as if things came easy to me, but nah, like nothing came easy to me. I actually had to work to get to that point. Just because you didn't see all the work that I put in doesn't mean that there wasn't work. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't born like that. I didn't wake up who I am today. I had to put in the work. Like, these people just want to steal and take and not put in any work. They want all the rewards, but they don't want to do the work. That's the false notion of thinking like, oh, I'm going to take his energy so I can have what he has and I can do what he does. Okay, you can do that, right? But what are you going to do when the bill becomes due? Because you can't do it forever. What are you going to do when they say, that's it, your time's up? You over here perpetrating a fraud all this time, and now you've been eating good, you've been living a life of luxury, using my energy, and now when that time stops and you got to pay the piper, what are you going to do? You're not going to have the assets. You know what I mean? All you're going to do is sink further than you would have been, and had you actually put in the work into yourself and actually decided that you wanted to be a better person, who knows where you would be, right? But we do know one thing: you wouldn't be at the bottom, even below the bottom in the dirt. You know, you would be way better than where you're going to end up now, because you tried to cheat the game. You tried to cheat the system. And that's why I believe, like, I don't want to go through my life lying. I don't go through my life lying to people. You know, people be like, kind of like curious if I'm lying to them. They be wondering if I'm lying with the things I say. First of all, I don't have the time to make up a lie to suit you. Why? Why do I need to make up a lie just so you could feel like I'm telling the truth? Nah, I'm good on that. Okay? I'm not doing that. I would rather tell you the truth and let the chips fall where they may. I don't care what happens next, because I'm living in my truth. I'm good with that. If you say yes, if you say no, I'm good. I gave it my all. I did what I was supposed to do. Your answer is not a reflection on me. How you feel is not a reflection on me. You know what I'm saying? So whether you decide to go with it or not go with it, I'm good. I did what I was supposed to do. And I can walk away knowing that I was in my truth. You know, like, I don't have time to be making up lies and stuff. Like, so I'm going to make up a lie, and then I got to make up another lie to keep the lie going and actually try to remember the lie. Nah, I'm good. I'll tell you the truth, and I know what I said. And it just allows me to float in my authenticity. So that's where I want to come from in any relationship, in any conversation, because then everything is easy. Everything just flows. I don't have to think of what to say because I'm coming from my heart. So I know what to say. Oh, you've been hurt? You going through some things? I got a word for you. I got something I can share to maybe uplift you, help you out, make you feel better. You know, because the one thing I dislike is we got so many people out here that's faking it. We got so many people out here faking it. Like, they faking who they are. They pretending they got this when they ain't really got much. You know what I mean? And even if they do have something, it's like those things are the things that is actually defining them. They think because they have stuff, they're better than this person or that person. But in reality, their stuff isn't nothing but a mask. It's a mask. The things that they have are actually used to hide the pain that they don't want to address. The issues that are deep within the surface that they never addressed. And because they don't feel any immediate pain, because they're not looking at those issues every day, they just go ahead and be like, I'm fine, I'm good, you know? When in reality, that's far from the truth. And then, you know, I see, you know, the people on Instagram trip me out, social media. They go ahead and they put up this facade like everything is really all good when it's not all good. Like, what is the point of that? Who are you fooling? You ain't fooling nobody but yourself. People need to be more honest and transparent about what's really going on. Because it's only when you address what's really going on that you can actually move forward. It makes no sense to keep everything bottled up. Because what's going to happen is eventually you are going to explode, and you may explode, like you may have like a mental breakdown from keeping things inside. Like you need to express, you need to let that go so you could actually live your life. Like those things, those emotions, those feelings that you keep bottled up, they can actually cause you physical harm. You can't distract yourself from yourself, okay? You got to actually address your issues. Everything will be a lot smoother. And I want y'all to hear me right now. Like, if y'all are going through anything, if you need an ear, you need somebody to talk to, I'm here for you. Hit my email, hit me up, let me know what's up. We could talk, we could have a conversation. If you want to share it, we can share it. If you just want it to be private, it could be private. But I'm here to help y'all. I'm here to help y'all. Right now, that's an open invitation for anybody. All right? But look, that's pretty much all I got for today, chosen ones. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to be doing an episode every day. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you for listening. I'm out.